Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Empire Total War with the 1680 Colonialism mod. Last time around we had a big battle preventing a Spanish-French army from crossing in and attacking Amsterdam and taking out the Netherlands. We were barely hanging on throughout the battle. It turned out that our Cavaliermen are absolutely useless, and that's why I've merged them all into two units that I haven't even bothered trying to replenish, because we're not going to use them anymore. With a range of 50 and an accuracy of 25, they're absolutely pointless of recruiting. They just take up a valuable space in the 20 stack. So instead we're going to focus on pistoliers, cannons and pikemen, as I mentioned before. Now, I said in the last one that I probably should try and pursue an attack, but I do realize on closer inspection, if we look at the flag, it's not broken down like the banners of armies that have been in fight. So this is a completely fresh army, meaning that there is about 2,400 light pikemen, and we barely get up to 500 men in this army, so there's no way we're going to take this on. Plus they definitely is going to get like an additional 5 or 4 units of some sort of militia unit, so there's no way we're going to be able to attack there. I have gone ahead and started the recruitment of some demi-cannons. Now you can't move them, but you do have the added advantage compared to the 12-pounders, which is that their firepower is greater. They have a greater firepower, which hopefully means we get more canister and more spread on it. And they're also cheaper to recruit and to maintain. So that's why we're getting them, even though it is kind of an outdated cannon style. And let's see if I cannot remember what we're doing in North America is we're going to focus on the Navy here. George Rourke, which I've moved down with the reinforcement, and is now going to attack the port at Tademusik, or Mousson. I don't know how you pronounce that. Tademusik, something like that. Canadian place. So we're going to land an actual proper army with some proper units in terms of musket rifle units. So we have arquebusé militia, matchlock infantry, very nice. We're going to pursue and lay siege to Quebec. There's 500 men guarding it. I'm gonna demand their surrender, and they do accept. France just lost their capital province in the New World without a fight. They've reorganized down in Montreal. My spy managed to infiltrate, so they have 2 cannons. They have 1 rifleman like us. Then they have loads of really good pikemen, colonial pikemen. So our advantage in that fight will be we have less pikemen, but we have more gunners. Slightly less cannons, but we do have 2 generals. We'll go ahead and repair this so we can get the trade going out here back to England. We'll be hopefully able to just sweep through and take loads of North America here, which will hopefully boost our economy enough that we can send plenty of troops to help out the Dutch. We're going to send the fleet out to sea again, and then we go down south, where the priest might have around 1 more turn than he's in Charleston, Carolina. And then we'll be able to ferry him down to Santo Domingo to go ahead and convert them. And then we're gonna see about... The thing is, focusing here means that we have less troops to put the focus against the Spanish in Flanders. So I wonder if it's any idea trying to build up a force to take on the Spanish on Cuba, when it's probably better to try and keep the Netherlands alive. Just so we have one of our... The thing about the Netherlands, though, is they're not a great ally, because we do not get that much trade from them, 600 at this point, and a lot of other European nations, most nations, are not republics, and being in an alliance with a republic means that all the other absolute monarchs and constitutional monarchs will dislike us. So if we look here, maybe not this one, but yeah, it's not a great idea because so many people dislike the Dutch. So if we look at who likes the Dutch, the only one who likes them is Hanover, us, and kinda the Habsburgs, and then there's a lot of kind of neutral that don't... The Ottomans don't care, and like there's a few other nations that don't care, but it's basically us keeping them alive. And if we look at who they are at war with, they're at war with France, they're at war with Spain, they're at war with the Electorate of Cologne, they're at war with Poland, Lithuania, they're at war with Württemberg, they're at war with Sweden, they're at war with Brandenburg, so they're basically at war with everyone. Is there any major nation? It's like the Indians and Russia that they're not at war with. India, Russia, the Ottomans, everyone that's too far away to fight the Dutch. Anyone who is within range of fighting the Dutch is fighting the Dutch. I guess beside Hanover. And I think that's it. What we'll do is we'll end turn, and what's gonna go happen is most likely we'll have a battle here. So the battle for this video is gonna be the Battle of Upper Montreal, and that's gonna very much decide the faith, or the faith? yeah, in an extension, the faith, because I will be turning them Protestant. But the fate of North America. If we lose there, then it could mean that a resurgence of the French. They haven't been very active, but that could happen. It would at least halt my advance. And victory, though, especially a heroic victory or a really great victory, would, you know, cement our dominance. The French would be gone, and we would only have to deal with the Iroquois Confederacy, which will quickly fall, I imagine. Once they're gone, we can go ahead and attack the French through here, and then go on to the Spanish. Once they're gone, we can strike at Savannah, Georgia, and then I'll be able to trigger the effect of this mission, the capture regions for the 13 colonies, and then the 13 colonies, the Crown will take complete control of the 13 colonies, and I'll have the entire coast of North America, which will make us quite powerful, because there's a lot of tobacco and cotton plantations. Now, at the time, I think it's a little bit odd that they have cotton here. But cotton wasn't really that great of a cash crop early on, as I recall. It wasn't until the like late or more towards the, I can't remember, sometime in the 1800s they figured out like a machine that could more easily untangle the cotton and up the production in a way that made it way more profitable than what it would have been back in this day, where you would have had to kind of... I'm not an expert in cotton plantations, but like separating the fibers or in some way, you have to do it by hand, and it'll be way less production of cotton. So tobacco would have been a bigger one, and I don't know what else they would have done here. Sugar would have been nice, but they can't. I don't think they can do. We can't do sugar along the coast here. So then the Caribbean would be better to get our sugar from there until the Europeans figure out how to grow the sugar beet back home. Anyways, enough of agriculture. We want war, don't we? Well, maybe not actually, because we have plenty of war. But let's go ahead and then turn and see what the enemy has in store for us. We have that army that I specifically... Yes, so those 2,400 men is now marching towards the bridge. We have 600 men guarding the bridge. And they will be able to bring in 1,200 in reinforcements. So, like, there's no way I'll be able to hold there. We're gonna decline the attack. I think they might continue on and attack us, in which case we'll retreat. And we have recruited a gentleman, John Lethambridge. Now, I think I showed you in the end turn that we've got lots of people raiding our port. Successful mission again. That there's a lot of I think I showed you the naval battle that took place here. The Ottoman Navy is coming up with these full stacks of ships that just get trashed by the Venetians. So there is a heavy fight going on here, and there's multiple Lepanto type battles being fought here as the Ottoman just pours out ships that are being sunk constantly, more or less. We have someone dead, public server. He's in government then. Then we have Governor's Council on the Bahamas and Ironworks in Cork Island. Castaway Mariner rescued. I think they're become a little bit unhappy by this. No. It's not until later structures. Maybe that's just in Napoleon. So now we're gonna move you across. This guy is gonna move down here. Boom. And so we're one turn away, so we're gonna have to research something else while we wait for that. Preferably something that just takes like one turn. Now we have a few that takes 2 turns, which I guess is the closest we'll get. Improved animal husbandry, reduced chances of wealth generated by farms, basic steam pump actually reduces cost and makes us able to upgrade a lot of the mines. So I think that's probably a pretty good one. So we'll do that one until we wait for the drill school to be completed, so we can do socket bayonets. Then hopefully after that, new model bayonet drills and reorganized procurement. Actually, add new bayonet drills. We get flintlock musketeers late, which probably is an okay unit. So that'll be good. Don't think I should be putting money towards that. What we need is units. So maybe we wait and transport him. This army is moving to attack here, which I don't like. And we're probably not going to be able to... You know what? I really need that guy at the bridge. Can I land him here though? Yes, I can. So that'll be an extra boost to have a proper line unit there. Desperate fighting trying to save my Dutch allies. Oh no, you're not supposed to go there actually, you're supposed to help out here. So, real big problem with the French under Claude Villars, which is definitely moving to attack Lionel Townsend. Now, their range, we cannot see their range, but I bet they have enough range to get to us because it's not that far. Problem is if Dutch aid and so on is enough. These guys are broken down now, so I'm hoping they stay that until they actually reach us. We're gonna go ahead and... Thing is, what I do is I go into port, then the enemy comes out of... or they send a unit to push me out of port, and then they enable trade, so they kind of circumvent me there, which is great. Then if we go here... The thing is, the fleet that was spotted here, I actually saw them moving back to Europe. So then no, the French fleet that was here and was raiding our trade here actually moved back. I think we'll try to join down here. So the priest should join the fleet under Abraham the Berry. And then the Berry will leave him on Hispaniola. Okay, you can't get off right now, but you will get off right now. That could be interpreted very badly. I also noted that these guys are moving down south, which I don't like. We'll go back here. And I just want to recruit some extra units. We're going for... Oh yes, I was able to get a new pike unit. I think I can only get one of them. It's the heavy pikemen of the Earl of Newcastle. You know what? I can get loads of those. The thing is though, they're really expensive and their upkeep is really expensive. But we'll get two because these guys are almost at the same... They're 400 men, so that's really good. And they have a little bit less defense. You know what? Why get these guys? Because this unit is 160. This one is twice. It costs more to recruit, but it only has an upkeep higher of 100. So why get the other guys when we can get these? We need to get more of them. So we're gonna build a school there. Then I think we also need some more war galleons. Because I am worried about Spanish concentration of naval forces in this region. Now they haven't really moved against us, but if they wanted to, they could definitely wipe us out. I want to see if we can move these troops. Kinda want them to join in our campaign. They're gonna have to hold for at least one more turn until they can move out. So we'll keep it at that. I have 500 left, so why not build up this? Or maybe I should build up... Is there another one? No, this one will be fine. Or maybe there's one here, actually. To keep this region from starving. And unhappiness... They're quite unhappy, but... Maybe... I would have to leave 2 units. But that's not what we're gonna attack. They're not gonna be able to have time to rebel before I'm able to... If I win the battle, I can split the forces in the next turn and can send half back to quell any rebellion that would be stirring up here. So let's go ahead and attack. Our spy has already figured out what they have, where they have them. Without further ado, let's proclaim English dominance in North America. They might not have... They have not recruited extra troops. They got to armed citizenry mobs. Philip de Vaudreuil versus John Churchill. A fight, to be sure. Right, let's go ahead and get this over with, shall we? The enemy is holed up in Montreal. As we can see, we've got the town there on our right. And then they're held up here. They have quite an impossible terrain and a thick forest. So the fighting is going to go down right in between that kind of impossible terrain and the town. Looks like they've got a bit of impossible terrain going straight through, so we got to keep that in mind. I've placed my cannons in front, musketeers in front, behind, and then pikemen in the back. We've got the riflemen over here, although I'm not entirely sure I mean, it's too early for riflemen, so I'm not entirely sure what the period correct terminology for these guys would be, but some kind of skirmish unit. General over here, dragoons, no, provincial cavalry, and the second general over there. And with that, let's go ahead and start. Now, the enemy does have more artillery than us. Gotta keep that in mind. They start blasting for our cannon, and they missed all our units. Not all cannons fired. They should have be well within range. The enemy has dug in their artillery positions. There's no point in firing at them. I think instead we'll fire at something else. So the French colonial pikemen. And then they have their own rifle unit, which is actually modded. More so than ours. They have militia arquebusiers. Same as we do. They have a lot of those horse obstacles as well. They seem to be concentrating more towards the town. As we've passed, we can now open fire with the cannon again. If they would like to fire. How to approach this? There's a lot of terrain which we probably cannot pass over. Which is kind of good, because then we can lock the enemy with pikemen and send the gunners to the sides. I've completely forgot to advance these guys. We'll advance them and the cavalry. Take out the enemy's skirmishers. And that will leave them more vulnerable to our fire. How's the cannon doing? Are you actually firing? No, you're not. Right, I want you then to tear down that house. Just fire into the bloody village. And subdue our enemy. There we go. Okay, nothing hit even close. You hit the house behind there. They're moving even further into the town. They're kind of leaving this unit on its own. Thing is, I don't really want to tangle with it, because they've got such higher accuracy than our units. I don't know where to... Oh, now they're moving towards to attack. Which isn't great. Okay, they're stopping to fire. We'll return fire, hopefully before them. So we got 3 of them. Enough to have them waver a little bit? Or was that me just... Damn! And we lost tons of men when they fired. Which is no surprise, because they got 50 accuracy. We took 7 out of theirs. While they took, what, 18. Here comes my cavalry though. Ready to send those guys off the field. And the enemy just keeps retreating with their army. Away from my men. I'll take out the cannons. The enemy will be forced then to march to attack us. We'll have a pikeman station here. The gunners ready to flank on either side. Where did I put my rifle guys? Oh, there. I want you guys to march up here somewhere. These guys are holding for quite a while, which seems to be kind of a feature of the mod that... Or maybe it's just Empire. The units hold out for a lot longer in Empire. Oh, and... cavalry isn't as strong against light units. We've lost surprisingly a high amount of cavalry fighting a skirmisher unit. So we lost 20 out of provincial cavalry. and about what 7 of the general's bodyguard. Look at how far the enemy has marched away. They're on the other side of town. They are shooting at my pikemen and they are hitting this unit. So would be pretty nice. There we go. Now the unit is killed off. They're down to 14 men. So it was one hell of a fight. Now the thing is, I'm pretty sure the cannon crew is going to put up a similar amount of fighting. So we lost half of the provincial unit, which kind of shows how crap it is. And then almost 10 people out of the bodyguard as well. My riflemen are moving closer. We'll move up behind them. We'll be able to fire down into their defensive pit. And it looks like the French have realized, you know what, we marched way too far. It takes forever to cut these guys down. Lost 2 generals bodyguard right there. It's really surprising. I mean, this is just the cannon crew that is able to hold us off like that. There's 7 of them. Okay, here comes the French. We want to have probably the cannon fire into them as well. So it could be that we station the troops like that. We can have the arquebusiers move around this side together with the riflemen. I'll pull the cavalry back, even though, I mean, the units are basically spent. Okay, so we got a few. The arquebusier and 1 unit of heavy pikemen are moving that way. But most of the enemy pikeman units are going to travel down towards here. And hopefully strike at these, which will be formed into... I could form squares, in which case I would be able to fire in between. So there's kind of a high risk of friendly fire if I do that. Is this battery even firing? It might be better to leave these guys to fire a volley at the oncoming enemy. The ones up here. So station them back here instead. And then what we'll do... I mean, this would be a pretty cool idea. To have them like that, and then these guys can fire through. Now they are probably gonna shoot their own men if I do that. But it would be a pretty neat idea if it would work. If I had fire by rank, I could have done just this part, and then they could fire 3 volleys through there. There's a sizable amount of them going this way. We want to lock the enemy on the pikemen. Yeah, it seems like way too many of them are going over here. So we're gonna move... Ooh, that means we're gonna move in front of the enemy cannon, which isn't great. I'm gonna tell them to hold fire and then pick targets to fire at again. What we'll do is we'll put our pikes along here. What I can do is I can put this guy right along this wall, which will protect him. The cavalry will be used to attack the arquebusier unit. Then we have these guys will be flanking on this side. And look at that, we've got a armed citizenry moving in around the church, preparing to attack the riflemen. Okay, so we got the pikeman seems to be coming down, so we will be able to snag them onto our pike line and avoid having them flank around, so we can put these guys to proper use. Okay, so the enemy is moving. They're lining up to advance. Oh, they got a second one coming in as well. What we'll do is we'll move slightly to be... Oh, they outrange us, the bastards? So we lost 7 guys. However, when I am able to return fire, I think we'll see that I need to move even closer. Damn. The ranges are all over the place in this mod. So we're this unit is now opening fire on the pikemen. Not actually killing that many. And we didn't kill that many of the armed citizenry, which is now kind of charging us. Our pikemen are getting shot by this unit. Form into... I'll send these guys to attack over there. We got pike walls. Oh, they did charge straight in. Our guys should be able to handle that, shouldn't they? I mean, if the enemy skirmishers were able to take down the cavalry, we should be able to handle just a few peasants. One would hope. And we did, but we lost kind of a lot of men. Now turn down and face the guys that are coming over here. Okay, you're gonna move over there. You're gonna move over there, and we're gonna prepare to fire. This one kind of needs to be stopped. They're charging here, I imagine. Oh, nice volley straight into them there. At the same time, we got pike fight in the center. And the enemy is now flanking us. That flank over there needs to be cut down. I'm sending forwards these guys to open fire. And this unit should move through there to open fire on these. The riflemen putting good use and shooting down there. Good volley. I don't think he'd actually kill that many though. They're kind of overlapping the unit here. We're doing fine here. We're winning on that fight. Oh, these guys have attacked over there. We don't want that. Drop your formation and attack. The arquebusiers won the fight against the cavalry, which causes quite a problem for us. These guys are going to pull back and fire into the flank there. As the enemy pikes were defeated there, we need to now turn in between these two houses. You will form square. Oh no! Riflemen are getting attacked by enemy general. That's not going to do. That's not going to do at all. So our pikemen are supported by the matchlocks. They're going to fire into the flank, and hopefully that will secure victory for our side. Oh, now there's a massive pike fight going here. I can't believe how shit you are at actually shooting. We are shooting up that flank. Oh, the French pikes are really doing a number on us. My bloody riflemen are doing pretty good. Oh, let's avoid trying to get shot here. Damn. We lost an unnecessary high amount of troops there. Now our troops are, our pikemen are about to get surrounded by a superior force of enemy pikes will have to retreat. All troops will retire towards the cannons. And we'll try to figure out a defense around the cannons. Our generals, even though they took that volley, they have been able to inflict quite a bit of damage on these militia arquebusiers. My riflemen are actually doing pretty well at holding off the enemy general's bodyguard. Might even kill him. There's not a lot of our pikemen that managed to get back. You guys will switch to canister now. And we'll see about some form of reorganization next to the cannons. My generals, they're winning decisively, so that should do just fine. Matchlock's infantry doing pretty good. Oh no, the enemy general won that fight. Pull back. We'll have to sacrifice one of the matchlock units. I'll tell this unit to hold fire, and then I'll target precisely where I want them to fire. Most of the enemy units are actually moving on to this side, which means they're gonna get the closest that they can before coming into the range of the cannon. Let's see. Firing at long range is probably the best idea because the spread of the canister is bigger at long range. And we'll get more kills out of that. So that was okay, I think. Form. You will halt. Fire all you've got. And then I'll throw you into a charge. And we'll try to catch as many of these bastards on that charge as possible. These guys should move forward, switch places. The generals won their fight. Okay, the arms citizen bastards turned him. Pikemen, attack! Canister, fire on the enemy general. And we'll tell our musket men to open fire. The enemy general escaped. I'll send the secondary general to deal with them. Oh, the enemy pikes were dealt with there. We're gonna turn onto this one, which is getting shot down. This unit is getting crushed. I want to turn this one into the fight then. My secondary general will go ahead and try and catch the enemy general, which we are blasting with canister. Oh, now the bloody bodyguard rode in. Oh, the enemy were broken over there. Back on your cannon. All my pikes will go to this fight, mostly just so we open up, so these guys get a free field of fire on the French pikemen. I thought this was gonna be a lot easier for me. Turned out it definitely wasn't. Hold fire. The enemy general is fighting our general over there. He's moving to avoid that fight though. Ah, our guy, Henri de Massure, got shot down. then his bodyguard should just chase down the enemy. The enemy general managed to escape. What's left to fight is that cannon over there, and then this one French pike unit. Let's see if we can't disengage our troops and maybe shoot down them in the end. Because this unit has done quite a lot at this point. Also, turn the cannons. We could shoot straight up the side here and cut them to pieces. I ordered you to move away, and that is exactly what you're gonna do. That was a pretty effective canister shot. Hold your fire. And now they're coming within range of my musketmen. So there's 17 left. Fired at them once and now they're retreating. Right, my general, which is dead, should charge the enemy's position. One of their cannons is actually destroyed. How did that happen? Let's move our units to converge on that last enemy cannon position. But French North America is no more. This was a much closer fight than we thought. What I think happened is most likely they shot down their own cannon. See if the general can dislodge these guys. Keep them in a fight until my infantry arrives. Everyone's exhausted. What I can do is I can run all the units to right here. And if the enemy goes back to the cannon, we can just sit here and wait for the troops to recover their strength. I've got my troops in order behind the cannon position now, and it's time to shoot them down. Okay, what? They're retreating now? Yes, now they're shattered. And we are victorious. Here's the result of the battle. We lost 1,000 men out of our 1,300 that participated. So it seems like a lot of these battles are gonna be very bloody. Out of the, what is it, 2,700-ish that took part in the battle. 2,700 men took part in the battle. 326 survived the battle. So they really fought to the very end. Pikemen were the ones that killed the most. Then comes the cannon and matchlock infantry. Worst, we had one pike unit that didn't do good at all. We had one arquebusier. Arquebusiers, I'm not that surprised that they didn't do too well. But we won, and we took control of Upper Canada. I'm gonna be sending troops back to deal with a possible revolution over there. This area is fine, so for a second general, we'll have Benedict Thorne come down. So Benedict Thorne will be moving, and we'll split the army, we'll reorganize it as best we can. What kind of troops did I can recruit here? I wonder if I should even bother redoing the arquebusier. The thing is, they've got good numbers though. Their upkeep cost. That is though because they're cut down so badly. Right. One turn more though, and this army will be able to join us with Colonial Dragoons cannon and another general, so that'll be fine. With that said, we're gonna end it right here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.